Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. A very warm good evening and a hearty welcome to one and all. I'm Namita.
And I'm Lavita, and we cordially invite you all to this entrepreneurial talk show, Innovocals, organized by the institution's Innovation Council of JSS Science and Technology University.
Institution's Innovation Council is the brainchild of the Ministry of Education, formerly known as MHRD. The primary mandate of IIC is to encourage, inspire, and nurture young minds by providing them the opportunity and exposure on what the best of the brains can think on various dynamic issues of the society and support them to work on new ideas.
And this time, we, the members of IIC, are back with the second episode of Innovocals. Innovocals is a platform where we bring to you the great minds of our generation who have pioneered and excelled in their domains and have made a monumental impact with their path-breaking ideas. This session will give an idea to the audience on what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur and will inspire them to pursue their own potential ideas.
We have with us today Mr. Suhas R K, the founder and CEO at Simple Energy Pvt Ltd. Hello, sir. Welcome. We are extremely delighted to have you with us today.
Good evening. Thank you so much for having me. It's all
Yes,
pleasure
sir.
mine.
So, to the audience, to know a little bit about our guest, Mr. Suhas R K has pursued his bachelor's degree in architecture at Siddhaganga Institute of Technology, Tumkur. Other than being the CEO at Simple Energy Pvt Ltd, he has a far-fetched experience being the CEO at XR Solutions, Urite Pvt Ltd, Airstep Pvt Ltd, and working at Orchards Infrastructure. His current startup changes the standards of EV, makes it customer friendly for every household owning it, and has a primary mandate to move the planet towards a greener future. He's a designer who loves designing, riding motorcycles, playing cricket, and most of all, who loves all him. Artistic form is the purest form of inspiration. With four startups, 5 years, and many lessons under the belt. Why is his motivation and how is his drive? His visions are revolutionary and truly remarkable.
Before
Thank
we
you for that.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Thank
Thank
you for
you.
that.
Before we move ahead with the talk, I request all our audience to post their queries or questions regarding the topic in the section below. Thank you so much, sir, for accepting our invitation and joining us today. The platform is all now yours.
Thank you so much. That was a very humble, introduction, and I'm like, I'm glad that I'm, here and talking to young guys. I'm not also that old. You can call me Suhas. I'm just 25 years old, so not that aged person. Yes, definitely a lot of learnings through this journey. Yeah, I have had few failures and few successes. It's up and down of things, but thank you, Namita, for that amazing intro that you gave about me, and you took
Yes,
time
sir,
to
of course.
you took time to read about it and present it here. Thank you for that. So I think I have nothing much left to speak about myself if you've already given that complete intro of things. So moving forward, I'll just give you a very brief of who I am, what I do. So I come from a very a not so mechanical background, though I am into a mechanical field, or you can call it electric field, that is simple energy. So I come from a design background. I started my entrepreneurial career at around 17, at the age of 17. I used to go around, sell few movie tickets for upper cost, and just trying to make an app out of that. Just think like Book My Show. That was my first taste of entrepreneurship and things like that. When I was in my first year, I always wanted to look at things in a perspective of having solutions to a particular problem which affects a lot of people, and that was my drive from day one. I happened to do architecture is because it was not something that I wanted to pursue as a career, but something to be inspired from. and design has always been core of mine. It's always been that, and that's always that I want to pursue. And the same thing I'm doing here in Simple Energy. So Simple Energy is a 2-year-old startup. It started in 2019 with the aim of solving mobility and switching IC engines to electric vehicles, because electric vehicles will push whole mobility towards being more cleaner and better for the environment as well, and it will save a lot of fuel, and it will give the next generation the chance to breathe in a better world, and not just in something that they have to wear mask and maybe teleport themselves to some other planet. So that's one of the moves that we are doing. But as we observe, electric vehicles are slow, they are boring, and a lot of people don't really buy them. That's been a whole scenario in last 10 years. But in India, there has been things which have pushed EV towards it, maybe the government and things like that. But there's no solution to it. So I think I'll begin with presenting a small presentation for you all, where I'll introduce how Simple Edge is doing what. So I'll put up the first presentation. Oh, great. So if you can put up the first slide, please. So everyone can see it. Hello. Yeah, thank you so much for this. Okay, great. So our vision is to accelerate the adoption of electric vehicles by making them accessible, inexpensive, comfortable, and it has to compete with the IC engine vehicles. And our mission is very straightforward. We have to build smarter vehicles which can travel long distances, so that you guys don't have to worry about charging time, or it's gonna run out of juice, and you can just comfortably go anywhere you want. And that's the aim that we are following, and to reduce the charging cycle or the time to charge it, because ideally you take 5 to 6 hours to charge an electric vehicle. So that is our clear cut mission. Next slide, please. Okay, great. EV customers' pain point, as I mentioned, that a lot of people face problems with EV is that it has less charge. It doesn't charge in minutes like your cell phone. It doesn't have high performance like your IC engines, or which travel very slow, and value for money, because 80,000 rupees, 90,000 rupees EVs that you buy, you will not really get that the feel of an EV, because it is only 40 kilometers of speed and there's nothing to offer. And these are the pain points that we are solving in Simple Energy. How are we different? We have a very shorter charging time. We have a great acceleration of 3.4 seconds to 40 kilometers in a single charge. We have touchscreen navigation. It is connected to your app. It has all the features like Bluetooth and navigation, etc. And it is very, very cost effective. It has all the other smart features, as you call it. And just to point you out, it'll be the fastest scooter period in Indian segment once it launches next year mid. And this is what we are doing. And this is our production model, which will be out for sale in next mid. So it'll be the fastest scooter and the most not so boring scooter, you can call it. It is designed ground up, built in India completely. In last 2 years is what we have done extensively on this, and this is what we have been accomplishing in terms of the scooter and a lot of the products. So it is a push towards electric vehicle future, and we want to be the change, because to see the change you have to start with you. So we have began that, and we look forward to creating more products which people will love to buy and enjoy them. And this is the bus that we've been having since so many months. We're already there. We've been successfully tested for 230 kilometers by the government agencies. So we are technically approved on that front, and it makes us the longest range scooter in the world, just not in India, which has been approved and tested by an agency. And And coming back to what we are looking at is a pricing of a premium model at 1,16,000, and there's one a base model of 18,000. That is something that we are looking at to launch it at. So this is a very outline-ish presentation for you. Nothing in detail as such that that is going to give you that insight of what we are exactly doing, because I can't really explore that on that front. But yeah, definitely talking about my journey towards entrepreneurship, my journey towards simple energy has a lot of lessons, has a lot of ups and downs. So when I started simple energy, as it is very clear that it was a very straight move to start something revolutionary, because I always believe there has to be a sense of problem solving in any individual. It can be anyone. Entrepreneurship is not defined by a person who is having a position in a company or who started a company. Entrepreneurship is something which is thinking out of the box. You can be a student and still think out of the box and solve something in your institution. You can still be a housewife and solve your family issues with a unique solution, with unique perspective, and that's an entrepreneur. You can be you can have a 9 to 5 job and work with a colleague and help the company to solve an issue. It's all about that. Entrepreneurship is defined in that term. A lot of people think that entrepreneurship is starting a startup and having a position in the company called CEO, but that is not really the truth. It's all about solving problems, and anyone who can solve the problem is an entrepreneur, and that's a very clean definition to what entrepreneurship means. And the same thing that we want to do with simple energy, and happen to be in this space since last 4 5 years, and exploring a lot of other opportunities. My first startup failed miserably. My second startup also failed miserably. So I was very young at that time, didn't understand what exactly things mean. I was very naive on the terms of how I'm supposed to deal and go forward with. So that has been there, and it's always been a journey of ups and downs, and understanding the market, or understanding how investors would function, understanding what exactly needs to be solved. Because to say that entrepreneurship is a great thing to move with is something that everyone can think of. Actually, to plan and execute, it's a different ball game altogether. People say that I have a brilliant idea. Ideas don't really work. Ideas are something that is on the paper, but when it comes to execution, it takes a lot of team effort. It takes a lot of coordination. It takes a lot of knowledge in terms of executing the whole process. So educating yourself on what you want to solve is important. Not to rush in any process. I'll just give you a very brief example of my one of my startups, which was into digital marketing and software solutions, because I happen to be in that space for UI UX and other aspects of it. That startup I had started just in a day's time, because I got up and I had some savings. I put it up into that company in 2016, and I thought it would be a great success, because no one is solving a problem for digital solution for small shopkeepers, and wanted to connect everyone and give them the platform to market themselves. But that naive idea, or uncooked idea, which is barely there. So I started with a small team and started doing things, but that was something that didn't go through. I had to shut down the company in 3 months because I had run out of cash and with zero sales figure. That was in 2016, when I was just 19 years old, 19, 20 years old. That was something that was the biggest setback, because I had lost a lot of money, a lot of savings. I had nothing left after that. So it's something that I always wanted to tell anyone who wants to get into entrepreneurship is, if you're getting into any field for that matter, have a thorough research on how it's gonna be, what it's gonna be. Look for mentorship. Talk to existing entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs. Go to your teachers, go to your friends, or maybe family who have good suggestions to add, maybe. But certainly don't jump into any kind of startup just because you think it's a great idea. It might solve a problem for you, but is it solving for the masses? Is the question. Because we often judge a problem based on what we think. We never look at, is this the same problem that everyone is facing? And that's where the key lies, and that's where the root lies for any kind of startup to be successful. And that has been the very strong learning in that startup that I had started in 2016, because I thought it is something of it is a problem of a very great scale. But when I went to the market, when I really tested the waters, I figured out that it's not a great problem to be looked at. There are already existing players who are doing it. I just didn't knew about it. I smoked all my money, and I was all broke. And in my first year of degree, and I was all chatted about the fact that okay, nothing's gonna happen from my end, and I'm just not gonna do anything about it. It's something we think that okay, this is difficult, and this is not gonna be easy forward. So you quit and you start thinking that okay, I'll just calm down and just start looking at something else rather than pursuing what you always dreamt of. Because when I was younger, in school days, I always looked at things very differently and always wanted to add on rather than just follow the herd. So that has been a motive for me. But when this happened in 2016, I had literally given up on pursuing any kind of entrepreneurship or any kind of business for that matter. I had decided that I would I'll finish my degree and start doing a job in my dad's company, which is a construction company, and because he comes from a civil background, so I thought he would get me a job for architecture field, and that is something that was very very breaking point, because the dream that you had since your childhood, that you will solve problems, you will make a name, you will put a dent in the world, but that was fading away, and that somewhere was heartbreaking for the whole part of it. But again, coming back to the thought process of things, I had to sit down myself. I come from before I complete this, I would like to add one more point, that I come from a very bike enthusiast background. I love bikes, I love cars. I'm a big fan of racing. So I religiously follow all the F1 racings. I religiously follow all the trends of mechanical engineering, what is happening throughout the world in automotive industry. That's been from day one. I own a couple of. I used to save money to buy one bike, which I did eventually, but that was been a drive that clicked me in 2017. I used to follow a lot of Tesla news. I used to follow a lot of different automotive news in this world, and I used to think that okay, automotive industry needs money and it needs a lot of backing to start anything of that, because idea of having a long range was there from day one. It was there in 2017 itself. I had written down in my notebook saying that I will build a vehicle which can travel long distances in a single charge. We can have a very beautiful design which will have a lot of features that everyone wants, like Google Maps on your touch screen, not on your phone, on your dashboard. So all this tech savvy features into a scooter, because that is something that I was always inspired by through Tesla. So Tesla has always been an inspiration for many people out there who are looking to make a career or looking to do something in entrepreneurship. Because Elon Musk is someone who has dared to challenge the norms, and he has been there challenging that, and he's been successful at that. So that's definitely an inspiration to a lot of entrepreneurs. So I happened to look into that, and 2018 I landed up telling myself that okay, you don't have money, you don't have much of idea and things like that. You have no idea how this works, because I come from a design background. I don't have any idea of how mechanical engineering or electrical components work, and I had to sit myself and I had to self-educate myself for around 9 months throughout 2018 to understand how electric vehicles work and how things work. So 1 year I spent just reading about electric vehicles, reading about mechanical engineering, manufacturing processes, understanding how a battery management system is made, how the whole layout is supposed to be, getting myself educated on that, because I knew if I enter this field without any knowledge, I would fail the same way I failed in 2016. But that is something that I wanted to follow up with, and I spent almost a whole year reading about electric vehicles and scenarios in India. And in 2019, January, I began Simple Energy with a 8-member team, just having 10 lakh rupees in our bank accounts, which is partnered up with my co-founder, Shresh. He helped me with that as well. So we started with a 10 lakh rupees in our bank account, and can you imagine having a startup in automotive industry which requires crores together? We had a dream of of solving a problem with just 10 lakh rupees in our account. But yeah, we went through it. We struggled. We had a lot of ups and downs in that first year. We did a lot of prototypes broken apart. We have burnt our motors. We have burnt everything that the money and a lot of other aspects of electric vehicle. We've had many failures in developing it. There was a few people left. There are a few people who joined back. A strong core team is the solution to things, and all this history is something that I can speak for a long time. But it was a tough journey initially, but we had the faith, we had the vision, because I believe vision is clarity. If you have a very clear focus of what you want to do, irrespective of what the conditions are, irrespective of how the odds are. If you religiously follow, if your heart says that this is gonna be successful, jump in, because that is the way forward. But before you jump in, make sure that you know about the field, because a lot of people who will try to push you down, and a lot of people who will tell you that this is not going to happen. But if you have strong research behind your whatever you're doing, definitely people will shut their mouths, and you can go forward with that. And that's what we want to do. So we set up our goals very straight. What we want to do, we want to make India one of the leading countries in EV, electric vehicle technology and vehicle designs, because today a lot of people speak of Ferraris, BMWs, and a lot of other allied companies which are beautiful looking and grand, and they are the everyone wants to buy them, but no one talks about Indian brands. No one really looks at how we can make things, and that's what we want to change in Simple Energy. We want to make beautiful bikes and beautiful scooters, beautiful cars. We want to make European countries or who design vehicles there to look at India and say that okay, this was a company which came out with an amazing product, and that has been our motivation, and we were very clear about the fact that what we want to do. And we went on, we created our first prototype, which with a successful rate of the range and speed and everything else. We went around, we raised money successfully. We have investors on board, and we are a strong team. We moved from a 100 square feet office to a 10,000 square feet R&D space, which is full-fledged today, and we are looking to launch next year. So imagining about this in 2019 was impossible for us, because we were a bunch of guys who had a dream of looking at things differently, and we just went with the flow. We never thought we'll raise money and we'll be in a position just short period of time, because a lot of scares. Our parents, our friends used to tell that this is not going to happen. You would need crores together to build a factory and all the aspects of vehicle assembly plants. So we were like, okay, let's not think about it. Let's focus on the process. And today we are strong 28-member team, full-fledged, funded, luckily, and we are looking at changing this EV space next year with a product that is gonna. I don't know how much people are gonna love it, but we are very confident that what we are delivering is something that people would definitely love it, because we come with a revolutionary product which will give people comfort to adapt to things and start looking at EV just like any other vehicle, rather than looking at EV as a boring and uncomfortable vehicle to buy or a waste of money to buy. It's time to shift change. It's time to gear up. It's time to look to the world and say that India can produce good vehicles, and it can definitely lead the way and show people that Indians are not behind. And that's what we want to establish as a Simple Energy, as a company, and as personally also. I want to lead with a vision, and because we know every problem, every situation has a solution if you look at it in a different perspective, with a strong view and with a very clear view. And this is what Simple Energy is all about. This is what we are doing as of today. And also talking about irrespective of Simple Energy, and irrespective of other aspects that I do. Very very clear way through. If anyone wants, if anyone who comes to me saying that in last 2 years you've been doing extensive work on electric vehicles and something that lot many would not want to do, and a lot of people would look at this as something experimental, and what would be your best suggestions and things like that. So for me, it's something that drives me completely. When I wake up, I all I'm gonna do is go to office. We work 12 hours a day. If required, we work over the night also. Depends on how things go. But we are very passionate, and our team is very passionate about that. So it's a very clear answer that why we do this is because we love it. I think that is a very clear answer to that, and that's what's going to happen for next 20 years or 30 years or 50 years till the time I'm there, or till the time Simple Edge is there. This is what's going to happen. We're going to revolutionize every single product that we make, and every single thing that Simple Edge is going to make is going to be the best in the class, and we would want to set up standards for electric vehicles and push other companies to look at it and start producing quality products which people would love at. So this is something that is the outline of what we want to do and how we look at things. So this is again a very simple energy oriented thing, but I would want to shift from that to more generic and more open talks about entrepreneurship as such. See, what if anyone wants to get into entrepreneurship? Anyone wants to start a business? Let's not call it entrepreneurship. A small business also. So, if you're looking at something very strongly, and if you have a strong data to start a business, I believe you should go ahead with it. I don't know how many of you would be familiar with how the process of registering a company and things are, and how you're going to find a co-founder and things like that. So I'll just give you bits of it. So registering a company is very easy. It takes 15,000 rupees to 20,000 rupees depending on who you choose. That's a very easy way to register your private limited company. You would want to have one more director on board. So it can be your dad, it can be anyone that you can first register yourself, get your legal stuff done with a trademark your name, what you think of, because that is important. That's a very generic information that I'm giving, but I didn't know about this, so I'm just giving it away. When I started first, I never knew about registrations and stuff. So yeah, so this is what is going to be the process of it. So second point is the market. If there are two ways to approach a market. One is how big is the market. Second is niche market. So when you decide that your problem statement is very huge and it affects a lot of people, then your solution has to be in that capacity. And you can present your investors the same thing, that the market is huge. What happens when a market is huge is there's a lot of space for other players to come in. So your entry barrier is not going to be difficult. The entry barriers for other people are not going to be difficult, but yet you will have a space in that company. In that market, you will definitely have space so you can survive there. But what happens in a niche market where the market size is very small and not a lot of people will buy your product because it's a limited space to be in. Not a lot of people would look at your service or your product. What happens that time is it becomes tougher because if the competition is cutthroat, it'll not make you successful, or maybe you might fail in that, because if there's anyone who is coming with a strong background or a strong service or product, they will whitewash you in that niche market. So what is important to have in niche market is your IPs, your USP, the main USP that you want to define, and you have to be protected on that front of it. So that's when you will win on the niche market. Otherwise, it's something that will not protect you, because you have to create entry barriers in your niche market. Large market entry barriers are there. It's great. It would be great. You can have a monopoly in the large market, but highly unlikely that you would definitely end up having competitions in niche market. But it's other way around in the your large market's capacity. This is how you judge a market. Number of sales that you're going to have in next 1 year, number of customers you would look at in the number of years. That this is how you look into a market size. So that is what you're supposed to decide on your solution. that you're providing and what is the problem statement. And the third point is, a lot of people today go to investors with a pitch which only contains idea. It doesn't contain execution. It doesn't contain numbers of revenue that you're making. So a lot of people have this, misconception that okay, I'll create a great PPT and I'll go to a VC or I'll go to an angel investor. I'll hit up my college dean. I'll go to my incubation center and I'll tell them that okay, this is my crazy idea that I thought about last 1 week or last night. I woke up and I made a amazing looking PPT. Trust me, PPTs don't get you funds. PPTs don't get you incubations. They don't get you anything. They get you rejections and they get you embarrassments at times, because I have faced a lot. I have faced around 150 rejections, close to 150 rejections from various VCs, top VCs across India. I've been rejected 150 times before I got the first funding for Simple Energy. So yeah, PPTs will never ever give you that success because lengthy PPTs will bore the investor. Short PPTs will not give them the idea. So you're in a dilemma what you're supposed to do. So it's a very clear solution for that. Bootstrap your company. Start putting your money, because once you burn your money, you'll understand is it really worth it? Because if you are expecting someone else to put in the money, you'll have to do that first. So that is the way forward. No ideas will ever get the big checks. Clearly, execution gets the check. Ideas are great. Execution is more important than the idea. So go into the field, start doing a pilot project, get your first 100 customers, or maybe even 50 customers. Get your first 50 customers, and that is when you can call yourself as a successful idea stage product. The first product is definitely meant to fail or maybe meant to succeed. That depends on a lot of things. This is a market saying, but get your first 50 customers or if it's a service or if it's a good product. If it's R&D product, then get your prototype on the line and show it to the investors, show it to the people, get the reviews and start doing that. Because spend time on giving the service, spend time on creating the product or the prototype rather than spending time on the slides. Slides don't really matter. They don't really matter in terms of raising funds or being out there successful, because what gets a company going is customers and the investors and your core team. These are the three key guys who can build it up for you if you have a strong service or a strong product. More than core team and investor, it's about customers also. For example, you have a service providing company, get your 50 customers to write a review about you, give them the fabulous service that you want to give, because they will be your marketers and they will get you next 5,000 customers. That's how the math works. Get your customers, get revenues. It may be the smallest revenue. You don't have to give $1 billion or huge revenues in a company. Get a very small pilot project. Prove that this is a good business idea and this is working and people are buying or using this service or product, and you prove your concept, and you can then go ahead and pitch to a lot of VCs and angel investors, because no one's gonna fund you for ideas. Maybe they are, but as much as I know, they will never. So it's better go with the service which is proven, go with the prototype which is proven, rather than going with the slideshow or going with the PPT which looks amazing. That's definitely not gonna fetch you anything. So this is on the funding part of it. Second key thing is your core members, your co-founder. When you start a company, when you start a entrepreneurship journey, the biggest challenge that you will face is building a company, building a team. The first team or the first employees that you will have in your company is to be selected by you, because it is very important. You will have to know them in and out. You will have to understand how their synergies work, because every other company which has failed only because of the core team's fallout. It's very important to have your core team strong. It is very important to have them binded to you and your vision, because if you cannot inspire them, you cannot inspire anyone else to buy your product. So you'll have to start inspiring them to work relentlessly, irrespective of what the working hours are. If they are inspired to come to office and start working with you, you will win the game for sure, because they will be the driving force behind you. And it's very important to select very motivated individuals for your team, and who can just drive the whole company for you. And along with that, if when you're selecting a co-founder, jot out what you are best at, get what your co-founder is best at, understand your weaknesses, understand your strengths, and focus on that and get going with it. Never hire your friends or your that's my suggestion, advice, you can call it suggestion. Never have any friends or any family relations in your company. Never do that, because that is something that will spoil you in business line. Always keep them out, and always be clean, and always have this company which is built only on potential, and only have people who have the potential to be there, rather than going around and giving your friends an opportunity, because no, that will destroy your ecosystem. Because in business you're supposed to be very very open about the fact that you're not there to make friendship or have relationships in the company. Rather than it's all business, it's all about business, because that is the key to have a very strong company and values also, because that gives opportunity to nepotism. It gives an unwanted advantage to your friends, who will think that you are the CEO, you can do anything about it, and they'll get away with all the things. So that's a very strong suggestion I would give, that don't hire your first employees, your friends or your family members. Hire them based on their merit. That is one of the things. Apart from that, another key point to any personally, if you really think funding and strong team is gonna sail you through, no, it won't. Why many startups succeed is because of their vision. I always tell this to myself, that if you have a very clear goal, you have a very clear plan, and you don't deviate from business point, you don't deviate from your original plan, you will succeed. There's more likely you'll succeed. A lot of people, they get into the business. After 2 months, they think, okay, I can pivot. I think I should try something then different, because something is not working out. Maybe after 4 months, they'll again pivot. The pivoting is something that spoils the fun. It spoils the whole equilibrium of the company. It confuses you. It confuses the investors. It confuses everyone else, and the whole set goes bad. And that is something that you should definitely avoid, because have a very clear path. Plan your startup for 5 years. From the day that you think of your startup, start planning for next 5 years, and tell yourself that no matter what, I'm not gonna deviate from this plan. No matter what, I'm not gonna change my business plan or financial plans, or how my products offering is. Don't do that. That has always been a setback to a lot of people. And a lot of startups which have failed have this common reasons, that the founders have changed the business plans. They have pivoted because someone else came to their office and told them that this is not going to work. You should do this and you should try that. So have clarity, have a very strong will, and focus on the goal. Get your team aligned, get your self aligned, and start working towards it. Stop thinking about people. People will speak. Listen to yourself always. Let everyone else talk, but whatever you want to do it end of the day by yourself. Stop taking suggestions from people who have never ever thought about a startup. They are people who can suggest you, advise you, guide you, but they are people who are not supposed to take decisions. Take it from your heart, take it from your wit, take it from your clarity, and just go with it. Everything will fall in place. I know it is very difficult for people to think that when they move forward, things don't seem matching. They think that maybe I'm not going anywhere and things like that. Always remember, when you look back, always there are dots attaching to where you're going, so you can join the dots and things like that. It's the same case with mine. I had to fail so many times to successfully lead Simple Energy, because Simple Energy is the only company which is 2 years old. All my startups have shut down either in 6 months to 4 to 6 months of timeline, with no funding, nothing. I never raised a single penny till Simple Energy happened. I had to fail this many years, and when I look back, I don't look at them as something that is gonna be is something that is not gonna give me that what is a faith or disappointment. I look at them as lessons. I look at them as inspirations. I look at them as something that has built foundations to what I'm doing today. And this is how you can look at your other failures. Stop treating your failures like they are something that will not do good. Remember, experience has value. So if you've failed, that means you know more about what not to do, and that brings a lot of value when you start a new venture. All my failures, which I learned from them, I implemented all of them in Simple IG. And today I'm glad that wherever Simple IG is, it is there where it was supposed to be. And I'm very happy the fact that I did learn from them. I looked at my failures as my inspiration and motivation, because a lot of people will start go to YouTube and look at motivational quotes and start looking at solutions from these people. No, stop looking at people. Start looking in yourself. Start sitting down and just shut yourself out from the world and start planning and start thinking that what you want to do. Motivation is in you. It's always in you. Don't go to YouTube and search for motivational speakers. No one can give you the motivation. It can give you that 5 minutes of relief, but never give you that solution. It's all about you. And if you're not self-motivated, then it's gonna be tough. Entrepreneurship is tough. It's gonna make you cry. It's gonna put you down, and it's gonna tell you that okay, you're not gonna make it. And it's not always gonna be a smooth ride. You're gonna have a lot of downs and ups, and it'll just spoil your mental space. And yes, one more thing, that if you want to be an entrepreneur, then forget your social life. That has to be said. Forget partying and forget going out with friends. Family time, nothing. It's very cruel. It's very lonely up there. If that's the price that you pay. You can't really spend time with your friends on weekends because you're grinding all the time in your office, or your startup is needing that. Because if you're a CEO, you're clerk, you're supposed to clean the office, you're supposed to get the coffee for yourself, and maybe for the other teammates also, and you're supposed to do all the odd jobs being the CEO, because startup has to have that, and you have to do all the odd jobs. You can't really sit in a chair and expect everyone to do it for you. No, you'll have to get down, get your hands dirty, and start getting the work done. And lead by example always. If you want your team members to be motivated, you have to do the jobs that they think that you can't do. Lead by example. That will be the single point motivation to everyone, and that will be the that will lay the culture in your business, the business culture or the company culture that they call. Early employees will start adapting, and they'll follow, and they'll pass this down to their juniors, whoever is going to join later on. And this is a very, very simple yet clear understanding that people most often don't get it. That they think that I'm gonna become a CEO, I'm not gonna do all that. That's always not gonna happen. Startup is different from an MNC, so pretty much there. Apart from that, asking. A lot of people shy away from asking help. If you're an entrepreneur, trust me, you will have to have a lot of patience. You'll have to go out there even against your will and ask things. Practically ask for things, because if you don't ask for things, you will not get it. In this world, everyone wants you to ask for it. That's a job of a founder or CEO. He has to keep asking for things. Investors, customers, teammates, you will have to go around, ask things. They will never come to you. You will have to go take it out. Take things from them and keep doing that. But it's something that a lot of people don't know. They think that everything's gonna come to me, but it's not the case. You will have to go there and ask for things, and that is a single point solution. Just go right there. I want this. They'll give it for you. If you don't ask, they will never know. That's about how entrepreneurship works. And this is my learnings in over the period of time that I've been. It's something that I would want to sum up with is it's a great profession to choose, provided you have a thing that you want to succeed in, things that you want to do about. But it's always gonna be tough. It's not gonna be that easy in terms of solving things, because people think idea is great. So make a choice based on how strong your headspace is, rather than on how cool it looks to be an entrepreneur. That is a very small advice I would want to give, though I am not as great as lights of Mr. Tata or anyone else. But whatever short experience that I had, I would rather tell you guys that if you want to do it, do it with a very strong head. Otherwise, don't get into this space because it's gonna be tough. It's gonna make you cry. But at the same time, it's gonna give you that satisfaction that you're doing something great, and you can have a peaceful sleep about it. So yeah, closing notes is that follow your heart. Don't think about anyone else. People will talk. People will tell you that this can't be done. So go ahead, do it, but do it with a lot of research. Do it with a lot of background check. Do it a good strong team. Have a great co-founder. Have a great core team, and everything will fall in place. And always have clarity in what you want to do, because without clarity, you'll be confused, and that is the only single point reason for any company to fail. So go with your heart. Don't even think about your parents. Just go with it. If you have a very strong solution, and yes, do it for India first. Be a company which can solve problems not just for India but for the whole world, and lead as a brand which is Indian made, so that when you sit there and when everyone looks at you, it's an Indian brand. Because a lot of people think Indians can't do it, and you'll have to show that people that look, this is the company that has come up. I created it, and I've made it successful, and I've got people to know that I am something. And that's about how things should work in a business front. Everyone should recognize you worldwide, and that should be your primary goal. So this is what I have to add. If there is any questions that you would want to ask, I would be more than happy to answer.
Thank you so much, sir. That was indeed very motivating and extremely informative. We were very privileged to have you today amongst us, and I'm pretty sure your story has inspired many of us. We will now be moving on to the Q&A session. Over to Lavita.
Yes, sir. So your journey was very relatable to most of us millennials, sir, because the old people who are they started the entrepreneurs before. They are like, we had to walk to school, we did not have internet. If that is their struggles, for us it's mainly about what if we fail, and there's a pressure from our elders saying that it won't work, your startup won't work, you just do your typical 9 to 5 job, and that's all. That's the struggles we face today. So my question is, how did you overcome those failures, and how did you manage your quality and affordability of your products, sir?
Okay, the first question is actually relatable, because obviously my parents were behind me, saying that why the hell are you even doing that? Why are you behind things? You've failed so many times. You've not learned your lessons. You still want to do things. Uh, See, the clear answer to that is having transparency. Sit with them, explain them your passion. If you speak with your heart, it has to reflect in eyes. And as I say, if you cannot inspire your parents or your brother, your friends, you cannot do it. You'll have to tell them. You'll have to convince them. Because if you can convince your parents, you can convince your customer. That's a very single point relation. Parents will be tough. They will sometimes not agree. They'll simply say that no, you're not going to do this. You're going to do the job, and you're going to support the family. At that point, when your parents are too rigid, what you can do is get into a 9 to 5 job, just straight away get in there for their satisfaction. But after 5, when you come back home at 6, start doing your startup from 6 to 12. Because I know I did that myself. I used to sit on Netflix for 6 hours or maybe more than that. I used to be a lazy rat sometimes, and I used to do that. If you have the will, you have to do that. You will have to give your 24 hours. Maybe that is small. So excuses are something that losers give. People who have been successful always think, no, I'm going to do that, irrespective of odds. So people are going to throw stones at you, irrespective of how successful or how unsuccessful you are. They will always keep telling you things. That is what people are for. Today it is more social media. People just comment, irrespective of who you are. They don't even know. They'll obviously comment, but people who are closer to you, they'll start telling you advices, even though they have done nothing in their life. They'll start come, because problem is it's free world, and you can give free advices to anyone. It doesn't cost you anything. But if your parents don't agree to your ideas, to what you want to do, get yourself a 9 to 5 job. But after 5 till morning 8, you have around 14 to 15 hours. If you don't make your startup happen, then forget that you will, even after your parents give permission, you can make it. So you will have to work for that, and you'll have to work 2 times, because struggle is something that is, if you don't struggle, then you will not enjoy the success. That's very simple. Agar sab kuch mil jayega aise, if you just get it like that, it doesn't have value. So I understand that, because I've failed so many times, and I'm really, really scared of not, of failing, because I am in a position that I've struggled for 2 years, and that is something that I don't want to give up, and that is the reason I work more. We work till 12 o'clock in the night, and so that nothing goes wrong. So that is about it. Second question: how did we make it affordable and got the whole pricing down? It's all about how supply chain is developed in electric vehicle startups. A lot of things are dependent on China because of lithium ion, the battery cells. What we did was we went around developing the vendors in India. So there are a lot of small scale companies who outsource manufacturing for big companies like TVS, Hero, Bajaj. All these companies are outsource their manufacturing. I don't know, many people don't know about this, but they do. So we contacted all these people last 1.5 years, started giving them projects, started understanding how can they work, because a lot of people started importing things from China in terms of EV, be it the motors, be it the controllers. What we did is we are doing everything in-house. We are doing the controller, we are doing the motors in-house, we are doing the whole vehicle architecture in-house. So that reduces the cost. And developing a vendor in India is more important than developing a vehicle in India, because without the vendors, you cannot go anywhere. So our first step was to develop the vendors, and we started tying up with Taiwan, we started tying up with Japan, out of China, which are giving us more better options, better rates as well to develop our product. And that's how we done it, and we're still developing. I'm not going to say that we have completely achieved. We are 70% ahead, and when we complete, we will 90% of the vehicle will be made in India, 10% will be sourced from outside. So we will achieve 90% made in India product.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir. So we have another question on board. Uh, One of the questions we have is, there's obviously a lot of process involved with in the initial days of the companies. And when it came to investing in investors, what are some of the factors that investors looked into in regard to the deep tech market at Simple Energy?
Investors have a very clean approach towards what they want to look at. First thing they look at is the founder. First thing they look at how visionary is the leader of this company, because it is just 3-4 meetings that they have to close the deal. We hesitate to lend our money to even our friends who has been our friend past 8 years. But investors don't have that option. They have to close the deal in a couple of meetings, and to judge that, they look at how visionary, how reliable the founder is, how deeply rooted he is with the company or she is with the company, and how much of knowledge that person has of the background of the field that they are operating in. And that creates trust. And with that trust, they go ahead with investing. But with Simple Energy, and the second point is they look at the market size, how big the market size is that you're solving the problem for, because the revenue is important for them end of the day. Because investors look at investing and getting ROI in next couple of years, right? So they look at that. And with Simple Energy, we had a very large market. Second, we had to go through a lot of technical evaluations. They had asked a lot of data, a lot of inside information that we are doing. And what set us apart is because no one in the world has a range that we are offering, which is given by a agency provided. So 230 kilometers, you can just Google up. There's no other company in India which gives you that range. So that has been a USP. That has given investors more confidence. They think that, okay, this is a solution that no one is solving, and this company has solved it, and that becomes an exciting approach for them. Because there are two types of investors. One investor is who invest in revenue companies, one investor who invests in hardware companies, right? So there are two types of investors. And first, a lot of young guys or young girls make a mistake of approaching a wrong investor, because not a lot of investors invest in EV. Not a lot of investors will invest in the company that you started. So before you send an email to an investor, check upon what he does. where does he invest, what was his last five investments in, because that will give you an idea that whether this guy will invest in my company or not. Because the investors are various. They don't invest in particular startups, they don't invest in particular, it's not because they don't like it, it's because they have never done it. So approach an investor based on what his investment past is, so that you will save time and you will save a lot of your efforts, and you will know exactly who to approach. Right investor approach is very important to me, because there are hundreds of investors out there, and you will waste time in hundreds. So rather than do your research, jot down five strong investors who have investing in your company. For example, you have an app company, search for SaaS-based investors or investors who invest in software-based companies. You will have a list of them, and you can start approaching them. For my case, I had to approach traditional OEMs. I had to approach VCs who invest in in robotics field, R&D companies, this kind of investors, and because they understand the whole business, they understand, if I invest, it'll require more money. It'll be for 5, 6 years, because Simple Energy is not going to get revenue next 1 year, and it's already 3 years old company. So to hold on to such long time, you need a very strong investor, and that is where things come to play. You will have to create an USP, a strong barrier, and we have that advantage in the company with the product that we're offering, because we are better than anyone else out there in terms of range, in terms of everything else, and it is made in India product, which excited the investor, and that is how they came on board, and also the leadership and also the core team. So these are the three key factors.
Thank you, sir.
Lavita, your mic is off.
Sorry about that, sir. So we want to ask you about the marketing part of it, because we heard big companies like Lamborghini and all, they do not exactly put out advertisements. They say, I read this part somewhere that the people who can afford Lamborghini do not sit around watching TV, so we do not need the requirement to advertise. So how about making, is a good product enough for its marketing, or you spend money on advertisements and stuff?
Good product marketing is not very product is not important, marketing is not important, nothing is important. What is important is customer satisfaction, after sales service. If your customer is satisfied, he'll get you one more customer. And when this big brands tell that they don't advertise and things like that, they do advertise. They have YouTube channels, they do advertise, they make reviews and things like that. It is all just a marketing gimmick to make people, saying that I'm not going to advertise, also advertising. That's a one form of advertising. So that is what, that brings a lot of interest. That what is so amazing about this company that they don't want to advertise, and what is so great about this? So people go and Google them, so they get the market value there. It's kind of, see, everyone is selling. Everyone is selling. From the day you're born till the day you die, you're selling. You're selling one or other thing. Anything that people say I'm not going to market and things like that, it's not. Marketing is very selective. Again, it also depends on product. Yes, I agree to a point that if a product is amazing, you don't have to market it. But to sustain that product, you need strong customer base and their reviews. Without that, then you'll have to spend billions and millions on your marketing. There are companies which have spent millions in marketing, but they have not sold anything. And there are companies who have not done anything in marketing. They have had a very small budget, and they have gained a lot of things. That is only because of the customer experience. Apple, it is a world famous phone company, tech company, which manufactures laptops, iPads, and all other aspects. They do market it. There's no need of them to market, right? But they do market it because they have to sell things. And Apple is famous because of not Steve Jobs or not anyone else. It's because customers love the product that Apple has, and that has been the drive for any company. And Lamborghini is around 70, 75 years old company, maybe more than that, and it has legacy behind it. When you have a legacy behind it, you don't have to market it because it's so old company that everyone knows about. But in today's generation, you have to have a product. You'll have to have a strong marketing strategy. You'll have to have a very, very good customer base who's gonna be your vocal, who's gonna talk about you to the other people surrounding them, so that they can come and experience your product.
Yes, sir.
Sir, so a lot of our viewers who are watching this live right now, most of them are students or engineers in the making, or even young engineers. So we would like to know what are the opportunities at Simple Energy for these students and young engineers, if there are any.
Yes, so we just 2 days back announced that we are looking for interns in mechanical engineering, electrical engineering. So, anyone who is listening, they can just send an email to hr@simpleenergy.in. So I'll repeat again, hr@simpleenergy.in. So, or you can go to my LinkedIn page. You'll find a post which I've shared from our colleague, and it has you can just go and apply there. And it will be great if you can come over and join us. We'll have a lot of fun creating a product, and remember, we're creating a legacy. So if you want to be a part of early employees who will be remembered, just imagine you being featured in next Apple movie. I hope everyone has seen Steve Jobs' Apple movie where early employees are featured. If you want to be that guy, then hop on and apply and get through the interviews. And I look forward to working with you in a conference room and an exciting product. Why not? Please come in. We are looking for you.
Thank you, sir. And another thing is you were talking about how Tesla is doing very well across the world. So, and you wanted Indians or the Indian product to be a competition or to that level of a Tesla. So, we want to ask you how easy is it to find resources or facilities to build a bike or the product in India, and how did you manage to put it all together?
Uh, Firstly, to be at a level of Tesla is first to imagine that you can be better than Tesla, because it starts with that first. You cannot start a company and think that, okay, I have started a company, what I'm going to do now? No, you will have to be very strict, very clear about what standards you're going to set. Why just benchmark Tesla? You should think that I can be better than Tesla. I can, beat all the other norms. I will be a company which will inspire any other guy, because even if one guy is inspired by Simple Energy, I'll be more than happy, because I'll count myself as successful. Because of Simple Energy, I started my journey. If someone says that, I'll be more proud. And with that saying, I am very clear because I'm very passionate about motorcycles, automotive industry as such, and I wanted to set a benchmark personally, that design has to be up par. It has to look modern. It has to look the best possible scooter that is in the Indian market, and it has to have the tech that is required. So my idea, my clarity of the vision was from day one. I never budged down on what I'm going to do. If I'm very clinical about every single aspect. If I want something to be, that part, it has to be, because that is going to set a norm. And we are in a very crowded space. A lot of competitors are there. If you want to be someone who can, be spotted, then you have to be something extra. So you have to push that extra. Apart from that, to get things, it is tough. It is very tough to build a vehicle. Building a college project is something different than building a production model, because it requires all sorts of licenses. It requires all sort of setup, all sort of machineries to build this vehicle, because it has to cater the safety of the citizen who is going to buy it. So it is a very different process. It's a very stringent, very hectic way of it. But provided if you have a very experienced team combined with a young team, what happens is you'll have a very streamlined process, because experience will get you the process, because they have been doing this for many years. Young guys will come with new ideas. So this combination will give you a very streamlined process, and that makes it easy. Nothing is easy. I mean, just not automotive. Any kind of business is tough, because with all due respect for any other company, because everything has a different process. We had a very stringent process, and it takes a lot of time. We took 2 years of R&D time. We have invested our 2 years in just R&D part of it. Building a vehicle is what we have started now. So we're gonna build the vehicle and then launch the vehicle. So it's a very long process to build a vehicle. And to beat Tesla, Tesla is around 18 years old company, 17 years old company, and they build a legacy. So what we are looking at is, yes, Tesla is an inspiration. We look at it as an inspiration, but not as something to achieve. We are looking to set our own mark. We're looking to set our own benchmarking in terms of it can cross Tesla, it cannot cross Tesla. That is left to the customer to decide. But with us, we want to create a very customer centric product so that customers would love to buy this because we think we create technology for the customer and not create technology and think about customers. No, it is the customers, it is the people who have given this problems to us, and we are solving that for them. And we want them to love it because if they love it, it is mission accomplished.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, we would like to know what are some of the plans that Simple Energy has in the future? Like, will there be an electric car or anything that's up in the schedule?
So right now we are focused on we are a small startup in comparison with all the OEMs in India like Bajaj and TVS and all the other companies. So right now we are clearly focused on scooter. But yes, see, as every other company launches new products, we'll also have to do that. We have to keep reinventing on the things because a product has a lifespan. It goes obsolete after a certain period of time, and we'll have to look into that. And yes, we do have plans to become big. We do have plans to change the automotive space, and you never know. There'll be a surprise from our end, which I can't really reveal to you, but there'll be a surprise from our end very soon, and people are expecting something, they might find something else also. So Simplize is always surprising people. Since last 1 year, that's what we've been doing. No one expected us to be here, but we are here, and everyone was taken by surprise. And we want to continue that because we want to keep that surprise element in India, and so youth can just look at, okay, this is a company which comes out with every single product every now and then, and they surprise us with the tech that we are offering. So, but yes, there are big plans to roll out, and Simple IG is looking forward to innovate, create amazing products, and create a benchmark in electric vehicles and make it a proud Indian company.
We wish you all the luck for your future upcomings. And then I'd like to ask a final question. Can you give a small message to all the young guys who are crazy about bikes, like just like you are, and you have your life, you have to be very focused. So all of us right now, at least in this lockdown, that's all we're doing, Netflix and everything. So can you motivate them? Give a few words of inspiration to the young guys.
Okay. Motivation in terms of it is very derivative. It is very subjective also. Lockdown has been tough. I know 2020 has been a tough time for everyone, including us. We had to shut down our business for 4 5 months, and we had a lot of hindrance and a lot of things delayed from our end. Otherwise, we would have been out there now. I know it's tough. Everyone is going through their own struggles. It's not, amazing to. It doesn't feel amazing to be locked up in a room. Definitely not because because college students are young and they want to go out and enjoy themselves, and before they get into this responsible world, they want to enjoy their young time. But people who are looking to who are looking at motivation in terms of business, in terms of personal life, in terms of anything, remember one thing very clearly. The the very reason to be successful is you, and the very reason to fail is only you. There's no one else apart. And what everything else falls apart is how you think about it. So a clear line of motivation that I want to give you is listen to your heart, tell yourself that you're amazing, and no one else can be better than you. Your competition is yourself. So always remember that. There are thousands of people out there who will tell you that this and that. Your friends will laugh at you, and maybe you're sitting at home, you're saying that okay, the world is gonna end, and it's all about it. I'm not getting to do anything in life. Remember, patience is the key. 2020 is gone, almost. 2021 is coming. Nothing's gonna change. Year is gonna change, but what you can change is your perspective. Is your perspective and how you're gonna look at it. So just to wind this up with a very subjective, or maybe what I think is which will motivate people is uh, give me a second. Yeah, sorry for that. There was a glitch in the between. So yeah, so a clear part of things is the course of 2020. Before you dive into 2021, please remember, New Year shouldn't be just a new start. It should be a new escape. And everyone is tired of 2020. I understand, but everyone wants to escape and get themselves free from this. And honestly, they think that 12 o'clock into on December 31st will change everything. No, it won't. Until unless you consciously prepare for yourself for new experiences, prepare yourself to to explore, to believe in the magic, to think that okay, this is gonna be amazing. It's all about perspective. It is daunting. I know it is daunting to look at things from perspective, but that is the truth. That is the reality of a new year. But tell you something good. A good year doesn't have to be your big goals and bucket list. It doesn't have to be about things. It can be about healing. It can be about wholeness. It can be about courage. It can be about better physical and mental health. It can always be about what you want to perceive, that long lasting dream, that long lasting vacation, that long lasting startup, that long lasting proposals to your friends, your loved ones. Just go out there. Remember that time is not gonna stop. It's gonna be clicking. What is gonna what will be your regret is thinking that I have not done that. So close your eyes, dive into it, and just be fearless and take care of yourself mentally and physically. Start talking to yourself. Start exploring and just be out there. And I just hope you take care, you understand things better, and everything will be fine. Because till the time your spirit is alive, and if someone asks you what you've achieved 220, just tell them, dude, I'm alive and I'm talking to you. That's the biggest thing. So let this year go away. Let your failures go away. With this year, forget your failures. With this year, forget that anything happened in past. Learn from your experiences. Learn that I have failed and I can do something better. Just give yourself that tab that you survived all these years of your adulthood, teenage. And moving forward, I'm gonna rock it. I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna be the best entrepreneur, best student, best teacher, best son, best friend. You're gonna be the best version of yourself. And entrepreneurship is open, and I'll see you in the fields. I'll look to you in the field. I'll look to talking to you if you're somewhere in our field. Please come into entrepreneurship. Please solve problems. India needs you. We have to be the leaders of the world, and we are the future of things. Don't listen to your any of the bullshit that people give. Follow your heart. If not entrepreneurship, whatever you're doing, just do with your heart, and you will go there. You will reach there. Trust me, you will reach there. I am the live example of that. I have failed so many times. I've been there. If I can say this, I am sure that you can also believe in it. Please go there and do it. And yes, don't forget to enjoy yourself this new year. Have an amazing new year. Look at the next 2021 as an amazing, amazing year for ahead. Perspective. Nothing's going to change on 31st. What is going to change is your thought process. Nothing else. Change your thought process, change yourself, and do everything that you want to do. All the best, guys.
Thank you so much, sir. I think we all did hear that. So let's wind up our Q&A session there. And coming to the end of the session, I'd like to propose the vote of thanks. I thank our beloved Vice Chancellor of JSS STU, Professor Sidramaya. Special thanks goes to our registrar, Mr. S.A. Dhanraj. And I'd like to express my gratitude to our beloved principal of JSS STU, Professor S.B. Kivade, for their support and encouragement. I'd like to express my sincere thanks to Professor Mallikarjun Aradhya, the President of IIC JSS STU, and Dr. B.S. Harish, convener of IIC JSS STU, for creating this opportunity to organize a successful entrepreneurial talk. I must mention my heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Suhas R K for the inspiring talk he gave us today. Last but not the least, a big thank you to all the viewers who stayed all along the session. I hope you all were able to seek guidance and imbibe knowledge from Sir's thoughts. I hope he gave you the spark you needed to take the big step. Thank you, everyone, and have a good day. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.